Welcome back to the DreamHack Showdown Summer 2020. My name is Frankie Ward and I've got the fabulous Vilga and Potter with me. So great, they only have one names because they're legends apiece. They don't need to be known by surnames or formalities. Vilga, Potter, that's what we like. One thing I'm a bit sad about, ladies, is there's no after party. We're in lockdown. I know that Vilga, you're probably going to celebrate by going to sleep when this is done.
Oh, yeah. I was also thinking about ordering some kebab after, but not sure.
Oh, kebab.
How do you have your kebab?
Just kebab. I don't know. Just have it in my hands and just eat it all.
I'm vegetarian, so I don't know. I just know there's a thing on a stick that's made of suspicious substance, and then they sort of take a buzzsaw to it, and then
they put a roll, then you put all the meat in, veggies, then the sauce, and then wrap it in, and it's a huge thing. Well, it's weird to show it, but it's really good and tasty.
In Russia, this is what a kebab looks like. It's a huge thing, because in the UK, a kebab is like in a disposable dish that you'll find in your garden the next day. And it's sort of like something that was once bread disintegrated, and then some dead lettuce that's a little bit brown, and then you have your other brown from the thing, and then you might have a little bit more dead lettuce on top if you're into the vitamins.
Oh my God.
Is that what
Sounds
you guys
English.
are familiar with? Like, Potter, I don't know. Have you had kebab in Texas?
Yeah, I love kebab. Let's move on to brackets, Frankie. Let's move on to the brackets. Bring out the brackets.
It's spoiling my fun. What do you mean it's Championship Sunday? Potter, okay, talk us through our 6 teams. What's happened? What's the story?
Well, let's take it all the way back to that upper round quarterfinals. We saw, Able White right then beating out Dangerous Game 2-0, and they've just climbed their way and made it all the way down here. Now, if you notice here, they've already played Dignitas in that upper semifinals and lost out that series 2-0, but they worked their way through that lower bracket and they've made it here all the way to the consolidation finals. They only have one team standing in their way, but that's a huge team in Dignitas. We saw them playing yesterday versus CLG Red. They actually lost that series out 2-0. So they also only have one series away before they're in the grand finals. And that's our bracket.
Ooh, and our first matchup is between Able Esports White and Dignitas. And Able, it was the wee small hours of the morning in Moscow and London when they finished their chaotic series against That's What She Said yesterday. And they managed to make it out of the station on train in that third map. But I still do not understand why the comp play Inferno. They're going to be so vulnerable in the Veto. We're definitely going to be seeing Inferno today because they're going to ban Nuke. Vilga, why can't they play this map?
Yeah, to be honest, I think Dignitas would even pick Inferno against them. Dignitas Inferno is really good. What about Able Esports Inferno? Well, to be honest, when we heard from yesterday from Kimi, right? They didn't track it too much. They didn't have enough of protocols. They tried to go for these flashy picks, with using each other's flashes, but probably the timings were bad all the time, so they were just dying. Maybe this time they maybe need to start playing more defensive, and this would help them.
And what do we make of the team that's on show here? Because we've seen Bouchard pick up a lot of frags with her lurking style. She seems to have a sixth sense for it. But what about players like Kimi? Have you noticed any particular patterns of play style that you're impressed with, Potter?
Yeah, Kimi, she seems to have a really good game sense, I gotta say. She's got a lot of mobility on her defense specifically, even thinking back to Inferno. Now, I know that Able White haven't had the best track record this weekend on Inferno so far, but they were actually even willing to pick it into their very first series as their home map, right? So I do think that, yes, the score lines have been one-sided. Yes, these matches have been one-sided, but the ideas that you're seeing on Inferno for Able White, they've been there. They just haven't come into fruition for these ladies. So for Kimi, I'm looking, she's going to be a huge factor towards that B. We saw her busting out that AWP on multiple occasions. She's always moving around and willing to retake a map when one part is lost. So she's got a good head on her shoulders. I'm expecting her to have a similar performance, maybe even a little bit more from her. They're certainly going to need it on Able White's side if they want to make this one competitive versus Dig.
It's interesting how they started out against Dangerous Game and they looked okay, but for me, they were not a team to watch, even though they won that series. And I wonder if it's simply a confidence thing, because actually, as we've gone through these matches, and they've played at least 4 series now. They seem to be getting better, even though the opponents are getting harder. So, do you think that's what it is, Vilga? It's just a case of getting used to this level of competition.
Yeah, definitely. The deeper you are in the games, the more comfortable you feel, you know, day by day. And this is what Kimi said as well. Yesterday they felt more comfortable than the day before. But to be honest, what I noticed, when they're having these close games, when they, you know, even when they're losing, they start to have this, we can see this mass on the server, you know, we could see them forgetting the bomb on Inferno. We could see them dying with the knives in their hands. So this kind of, you know, it just shows maybe it's less of experience. Maybe they're still nervous. Hopefully we'll see something better today, and today is the 3rd day, so they should be on point today.
Well, let's talk about Dignitas, and given that we've spoken about Abel's Inferno, let's talk about the way that Dig like to play it. You've got Rain and Milk on that CT side. They're a great duo on Banana. Emily tends to play that rotator role, and Thea. Well, Thea's gonna do whatever she needs to do, but she's obviously very, very brave in terms of the way that she's pushing apartments. She's going for the wall bangs. Do they need to switch anything up? Or do you think actually they're fine? They can handle anything Abel throws at them, Potter?
I think the latter. I think what you said is perfect. I don't think Dig need to switch anything up, and they just need to kind of polish their game, not use too much juice going into this series. They've got a huge series ahead of them in the grand finals. I'm already speaking like they're going to win this series out just because this is a huge David and Goliath sort of battle for Abel White coming into this series. So I think the Dignitas ladies, they understand that and know that as well. I'm looking straight at Milk. I think yesterday in her series opening match on Train, she was a little bit quiet. She's the entry player, so we don't expect her to have the most frags on the board, but she wasn't quite finding as much success as I think she would have liked. Now moving on to Nuke, she had a fantastic turnaround. She started off like 0 and 10, then she started racking up the kills, and towards the end, she was almost a top fragger for the Dig ladies. So I think for Dig, Milk, I want to see her having a more consistent start right off the gate so that she doesn't have to try to claw her way back in. But for Dig, I think this match, it should kind of just be pretty standard for them.
Well, Vilga, you've picked out a couple of players from Abel and Dig to compare, and these are both players who had a fantastic day yesterday, Sapphire and Artstar.
Yeah, definitely. And Sapphire, she impressed me so much yesterday. She had 3 1 versus 4 rounds that she won yesterday. You can see 178 kills, 23 entry kills. Honestly, I was really impressed by her. And then Artstar, the bringer for Dignitas for this event. I don't know what is in her head. Maybe she tries to, you know, prove them wrong, or maybe she's just playing like she has nothing to lose. But she was also very impressive yesterday.
Well, let's head into the Veto because I've just noticed the time, and we're going to get into this consolidation final very shortly. So let's find out the maps we're going to play. Of course, Able to ban Nuke. We were expecting that. Dignitas is going to ban Vertigo as well. Cool.
Yes!
No,
I wrote down here, Abel White, pick Mirage, win condition Mirage, and I circled it 3 times. So I'm glad to see that Abel White are picking Mirage. They've done their homework. And as you mentioned earlier on, Train for Dignitas, that was kind of a given for them as well. And Inferno as our 3rd map decider. I like this coming out of Abel. They've done their homework.
Why is Mirage a win condition, Potter? By the way, Twitch chat, take a look at the voting options on screen. Tell us who you think is going to win. But back to you, Potter. Why is it a win condition?
It's not so much. Maybe win condition is not the right way to say it, but it's an option, right, for Abel White to go about for Dig, because Dig always veto out that Mirage. Either if they are feeling ballsy enough, they'll float that Vertigo and veto out Mirage, but Mirage will generally always be that second veto every single time. So I think it works out perfectly here for Abel White to kind of lean into that and potentially get an upset.
Wow, let's get your predictions. Is there going to be an upset, Vilga? Who you got?
Well, I do think that Able Esports would show some good game, but I would still go with Dignitas. They're a more experienced team, and I expect them to win this series.
Potter?
I have to echo that as well. I think Dig should win this series.
I'm also saying Dignitas, but best of luck to Able because I think that they're going to really impress us today. And I've been really fascinated by watching them grow during this tournament. So good luck to both teams. We are going to take a short break. But when we return, we're going to be with the newest duo on the block, Hairless, aka Harry and Fearless.
Hello everyone and welcome here. We have arrived at our consolidation final here at the NA region. My name is Fearless and I am once again joined by Harry and Potter. Oh no, actually it was Frankie that was just saying, what would our duo casting name be? Is it Hairless? Is it Just Less? What are you thinking?
I like Just Less. I think that's good because it's like, they say less is more, and if we're just less, then by definition we're more Fearless. So that's I think that's a good one there. I think that's what we can go with. I've got the hottest mic in all of esports. That's what they say, and we've got Able taking on Dignitas. I can't wait to get this one underway. I've been pretty impressed with what we've seen out of Able thus far. I don't know about you, but they've certainly done well. I think to get this far, they made a deep run already, and now I think it's like a really good test of them versus like a very solidified team. They've beaten the mixes, they've beaten the teams that they kind of have to beat if they want to start to solidify themselves. And now they take on Dignitas, who in my eyes are like one of the favorites at this event.
Oh man, and here we have it, Mirage. We haven't seen both of these teams playing this map before, so this is going to be very exciting. We've seen it, I think, only once in the NA tournament thus far. It isn't really a favorite map of these teams, but hey, final day, and we're having all the action now. So, looks like a very classic Contact B here. Quite a few flashes also there for Able Esports, and they're going to be bursting out. Milk does find one and is just tapping away here, and that kind of leaves Sapphire, last player here in the apartment, trying to fight and get that pistol round going, but it's so hard. They know where she is positioned. Flashbang, or at least blind one. But the question is, how long can she stay alive for? Well, not much longer. And the pistol round now is won by Dignitas.
Yeah, convincing start. Already, the the kind of what we can expect to see, I think, from Dignitas throughout the entirety of this series and the rest of this event is already shining through. Another player as well that I've absolutely loved watching, like on this journey and just becoming like such a good prospect within the female scene, is Thea. I think she's been great, and I feel like I can't wait to see what kind of highlight moment she's able to deliver for us as this series continues. Now, this is an interesting strategy from Abel. This is the around the world on Mirage. You don't see it very often. They run everyone down through lower, they go out lower tunnels back into top mid, and yeah, it's like it's gotten a bit weird now. Oh, hang on a minute, is this okay? So either it's not uncommon to see teams do it twice and like around the world twice in a row, but this looks like it's just like this classic matchmaking call, which is, yeah, you guys will go B or make some noise. You take the bomb into Palace, and then, you know, we'll try and get that bomb down. They are doing the double around the world. Kimmy gets out into the site. Problem is she's like, yeah, I can get the bomb planted, but no, you cannot, because Emily is moving up through ramp, and she's going to deny the bomb plant. That's a little bit heartbreaking, in all honesty. I think that's why, like, this idea of like, okay, you guys go B and I'll take bomb A. Like, the reason it gets memed so much is that's normally what ends up happening, right? Like, if you're up against any team that's worth their salt, they're not going to rotate everyone until they see that bomb. And so, you know, it gets dropped over on the A site. Really, if it was with the rest of the team there, maybe they could have got a bomb plant over towards B, or, you know, if they'd grouped back up to go for that A play, could have been a bit of a different result. But it's not the end of the world, you know, like it's fine. You're still buying up in this one if you're able regardless.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there for Kimmy. She was actually just not spotting anyone, so she was just running with a bomb towards the site, not even clearing the close corner or dark, just hoping she would be able to get it. But yeah, very soon you're met with those CTs. They are hearing your footsteps, and now a second round for Dignitas. But Able Esports are now able to buy up with full-on AKs on the board and quite a bunch of util as well. So the weaponry on paper is better for Able here. Of course, Dignitas are having a bit of a bonus round now. We see MP5s, a FAMAS that were saved from the previous round because no one died. So that's good for their economy. They can just keep it going, farm a little bit of extra money. But this round is important, you know, trying to get a round on the board now if you're able. And mainly having some mid control there, 3 people over, but also Kimmy doing her work on A ramp. So this could potentially go into an A split.
Yeah, and then one of the advantages of having like someone like Sapphire still waiting outside of this B site is suddenly if this A split or you know doesn't give the best kind of eye test out of the gate, you can fall back into a B play thanks to Sapphire holding on to this apartment's control. And that's also something, you know, denies any kind of control there for the CTs. The Dignitas, if they were to try and push the extremities elsewhere on the map, they are going to be running into someone. They go running the gauntlet over here in middle, but Smiley is just holding down the line. All in all, like, this isn't the worst spot to be in for Dignitas. They've still got this 2-on-3, but at this point, you're kind of like, you're playing a bit of a gambling game in a sense, right? You really do just have to hope that you end up in the right place at the right time. And right now, it looks like they might end up in the wrong place at the wrong time, the polar opposite of that. As they're setting up outside of A, that bomb has moved in through the B apartments, and it is going to get planted. So Able, they should just walk away with this round. You know, you're looking at it, if you're Dignitas, I don't think you even bother giving this one a go. They're going to begin a rotation, and with the bomb now going down, and there's been plenty of time for Able to get set up, I personally would like to see a save. But that's the thing, like, it's still early days. If you ever were going to take a risk, you could definitely feel safer doing it now. And they're going to try and get stuck in, and they do find the first kill. But Kimmy set up, she'll get the trades. Smiley with 2, her with 3, and Able, they're going to get that first round on the board.
Yeah, well, the good thing is Dignitas, they do have money left in the bank to buy up this round. So I guess that might have been the reason why they were still eager to go for it. Try to at least deal as much damage as you can, because Able have not been in that spot to try and build that economy. So any weapon that they need to reinvest is that's nice. But Dignitas are just going for a little bit more of a safe round here, buying up the pistols and 4 nades in total. Well, that's one already taken out of the game, and Exile and Bouchard are just doing all of the work here mid. They try to hide themselves by using that smoke there, but it's not going to be enough. The spray is coming through, and the scoreline is tied up.
Yeah, and so they salvage this buy together now on the side of Dignitas that really isn't all it's kind of cracked up to be. You're going to be relying on Emily with this AWP to really show her worth. And so the fact that she gets that opening kill is pretty huge for Dignitas, because they're coming into this round with some very significant limitations over on the CT side, right? They're really lacking the utility. They're honestly lacking firepower as well with these 2 Famuses in play. And so the fact that this AWP, which is by far the heaviest investment here, is able to remove a player so early on and, you know, deny that trade given over to Abel, leaves them in a 5-on-4, and now they're a bit more comfortable in spite of the limitations in this round. They still have Rain floating around over here in the ladder room. She's ready and waiting to pounce on out into mid if she's needed. But it looks like it's going to be this A play from Abel. And the problem is like, we know that, we can see the map, but Dignitas, they also know this, because they've pushed Milk over into the B site, and she's now clearing out lower tunnels as well. So suddenly 2 players are going to be freed up to rotate around in towards A to bolster this defense. They separate Sapphire while they've got her over in middle, and now these rotations come in to Abel, that they know it's happening as well. They're having to push into a 5-player stacked bomb site. And it just, you know, it goes about as well as you would hope, right? Everybody falls. It's a very, very clean round for Dignitas. And once again, you know, you look at that through the lens that they came into this with a pretty weak buy over on the CT side, and you're going to take that all day long.
Yeah, and I like that Dignitas, you know, they were not fully rotating. You know, they still kept 2 on A, and the rest was more or less focusing on mid. Because you never know what Abel's going to do. Maybe if they catch that rotating player, they can easily go back towards B, because then they know that it's most likely open. So I like that they were trying to catch the players there a little bit off guard. So they got Sapphire first and completely gained back their control on mid. And afterwards, you know, the only thing, as soon as the A players know what's up, you just go in all together as a unit, and that's exactly what happened. So good round there from Dignitas, but the money hasn't run out just yet for Abel, so they are still able to buy up in this round. Exile also on that big green gun, and so far they're very eager to go back to mid once again. And this is smart, you know, there is a little bit of a one-way here for Emily, and she is able to pick Kimmy right up. And also has the info as well. She can pick over the smoke, gets one. Sadly, there is a trade, but still, Exile is onto 5 health. And as far as Dignitas goes, they have a player advantage. And Milk, man, she is standing her ground here on this B-bomb side. But trades, once again, they are there for Abel, so that does leave us now with a 1v1.
Yeah, all in all, this is a very good recovery from Abel. Like, they were dealt a very, very bad hand in this round, and so Smiley's done a good job of digging them out of that hole, but they're not there yet. And now spotting the player over towards short. She knows that Thea's here. This is a very awkward fight to take, though, and Thea just doesn't give her the room to maneuver. It's going to be a 4th for Dignitas. Early on in that round, Emily almost gets a collateral as well. She does. She finds that first kill. The bullet almost goes through and then gets a second, but instead just legs them down to 20 points of health. Smiley really goes above and beyond the Call of Duty there to put up 3 kills in the round and even make that feel doable to begin with. Really, it's kind of astonishing that ends up being so close, with Dignitas taking an early advantage, already having rotations, having Milk pick up a double. It's a Palace waterfall in this round into the A site, but Dignitas are so ready for it. And this waterfall just breaks apart on the rocks down below. They hold on. Dignitas will find that 5th. and they're feeling pretty good about this right now. This has been a couple of nice, clean rounds. Well, I say that, like the one before last obviously was a 1v1, but then prior to that, it was nice and clean. This one was clean. And so the money is like started to reach this very important area for the CTs where they can withstand a loss and still be able to purchase up in the coming round.
Yeah, and I just hope that Dignitas can pull through and keep this round clean as well. Because last round it was just an eco for Abel. But now, you know, having the rifles on those players, you want to take them all away and keep their economy as low as possible. Emily peeking here mid once again, flicks onto Smiley. And that is an opening she has once again very early on in the round. But Kimmy is still on that ramp positioning, and it kind of forces Emily to rotate right into that CT position. And she is able to find Kimmy. So things are tied up, and Abel need to rethink of where to go to. Of course, that one player on A is lost, and you know that the ARPA is currently rotated over towards there. So they are feeling a little bit of a B hit now.
Yeah, and Dignitas, they've read this well. That pop flash is going to get thrown in. That just delays the push significantly and buys even more time for these rotations. Rain over at short, makes that first contact. She's got Milk alongside her. And this is all going to fall onto Bouchard in a 1v2. Milk doesn't even need to take this fight, right? She can just kind of hide within the site and then wait for Emily to be that first point of contact. And so she's never even needed in the rest of the round. Emily takes 3. Dignitas will put a 6th up on the board. This was the map pick of Abel, and it's Dignitas right now finding really all the success that's needed. 6-2 is already a stellar scoreline, and it's in a spot where this should just keep getting better and better. Abel having to take this partial investment here in round number 9. They've got some smokes, they've got some flashes. They can maybe look to throw like a bit of a fake in as they throw this early B utility up and over into the site. And it looks like this might just be the commitment. They're going to run the gauntlet. They head on in, and through the Molotovs they go. They get brought down pretty low in the process. Rain trying to hold on to the site. Ammo starts to become a problem. She's denied the bomb plant with the P2K, and that in and of itself is a great thing from her, right? All Abel were looking to get in that round was the bomb planted. They were then looking to try and set up and like gimmick anything by in the post plant, but she denies that. She denies the cash injection. She denies the chance to play around that bomb, and with it, a 7th is on the board for Dignitas.
Yeah, once again, rounds look very solid and clean for Dignitas. Using their util well, of course. If you're calculating, they were expecting Abel to come out with an eco. So as soon as you hear those footsteps in that B apartment, you want to make sure to throw a Molotov down there, delay them, and do some great amount of damage. So that definitely helped their of cleaning all of these players up. And the CTs now are gonna be showing some aggression here on that A ramp. Does get traded 1-for-1, but they find a second one as Abel is just looking to gain that control on mid once again. Was already bursting out of connector, but didn't really seem like a really coordinated play. Maybe one of them was trying to sneak past, kind of trading as soon as all the attention was diverted towards that A ramp. But the timings were just off. I think that trade came a little bit too late. And that leaves us now with a 2-1-4 Exile also on the AWP, but maybe can work that magic. Exile now with that important kill. And Bouchard now as well, still there on mid, but they need to come together. But I don't know, maybe Exile, maybe that AWP is all she needs in order to take care of Emily, but she also has that AWP and she delivers. So that now makes the scoreline 8-2, and it seems like Dignitas, even though that round was very close, they just seem very much untouchable.
That was like such a weird ending to a round. It felt like it was it was like a chance for every individual to show what they've got from either side. Like we had Exile popping off over towards ramp, just nailing shots left and right. But then Emily eases into that 1v2 and she's like, all right, look, like maybe we let this one get a little too close. Maybe we let it get closer than it needed to. And so she just sweeps it into the hands of Dignitas. Here's the attempt at a con, like, I don't even know, like just a con rush out of spawn, but they get completely annihilated on the push. The bomb now belongs to Dignitas. And if you're able, this is a horrible spot to be in. Like, there's not even a right way to approach this 2-on-5. I think, like, at this point, you kind of already know that this round is too far gone. And there's still so much time left. So it's not like you're going to be playing for a save. You're just looking to try and do damage now if you're Bouchard. And you're hoping that Dignitas get overzealous in this 5v1. And that, you know, sounds like something, you know, like, oh, well, they don't need to push, so why would they? But you'd be surprised, right? Like, a lot of the time, you do just want to get this round over and done with. You want to send Bouchard packing. She spots a player back in T-spawn. And if she gets that kill, you know, like maybe you can build that round into at least a bit of damage done. She's not able to do so, though. And Dignitas, they go flawlessly there at 9th on the board. Already, if I had to kind of say, it feels like Able are, like, struggling a lot because like these last few rounds have just been these kind of cool made out of spawn, go for it the moment you get into the round, try and make it happen, these faster plays, and they just haven't been working. And it takes a lot to kind of admit that that's not finding you the success that you want. And so I would love to see Able just slow it down moving into this next rifle round, go back to say taking some of this mid control and then looking to do something with it.
Well, to mid they go. They are giving it kind of a free. So Kimmy is able to be boosted here in the window. Oh, and here we go. I was about to say Kimmy has a free game there onto Emily, but she just hops right around that corner, getting the kill. Yeah, it seems like, yeah, again, you know, pistols, this is a tough job. Already losing that one player early round. Now a minute left on the clock. There is a smoke and a flashbang to work with, but the weapons, they win it over the pistols. Rain is just picking everyone right up there mid, and it kind of leaves Smiley here all on her own on that mid position. Even her not able to connect a kill. Once again, Rain is damaged, but not dead. So all of that money is stacked now for Dignitas. We have Emily almost hitting the maximum money mark, and the rest are building as well.
Oh, this isn't what we wanted, Fearless, is it? Like, let's be real. We wanted a nice competitive first map. I really like getting to, you know, getting to cast these games with you. And right now, this is feeling very, very one-sided, which is a bit of a shame. But at the same time, like, I'm happy for Dignitas coming into this because I think for pretty much everyone, like, they are the favorites right now. I'm happy that they've come into this looking on really good form because it's like if they want to go on, if they want to get past this series and then play in that grand final, you have to be bringing your A game. You really, really do. Like, there's no second chances anymore. And if you want to beat a team like CLG Red, you're not going to do that unless you're giving anything more than 100%. So it's great that they've come into this looking like a team that are ready to compete in a final. And Thea down here in lower tunnel, she's going to open up with a little double kill in this round, extending on the kill that she got earlier on. So that's 3 in total before she's traded. Exile does come in with it, but like now that they learned that this AWP is in top mid, Dignitas just go, yeah, well, we're not going to face that anymore. We're not going to give anything else over to Exile, especially because they kind of already have done that in a round that's gone by. It felt like, you know, they almost, if you remember that round that Elite had to 1v2 in, they did kind of feed too many kills to this very, very competent AWPer on the other side. And so now they just hunker down in the bomb sites and they play this as a 4-on-2 just by the numbers, 2 in either site. It's like, you know, worst case scenario, you lose both players without even a trade going your way, but you're still left in a 2v2 retake, and that's still very achievable. And Dignitas, they're not in the business of letting kills just slip by. It's all on Exile now in a 1v4, and the odds very, very much stacked against them.
Yeah, the thing I love about Dignitas, they know when to push and when to hold back. We've seen with Able a little bit, of course, they're on the T side, but we've seen just pushes that didn't really seem coordinated, and I have a feeling, the communication on the Dignitas side is really on point. We've seen Thea here pushing out of that lower tunnel. She didn't do that before, so it wasn't really expected. And, from that moment, they kind of fall back. They know that Rapper is there, and you don't want to overextend, because in that case, you start to make mistakes, and you start to do things that are just not necessary. If you have an early lead, don't give it away, and that's great. So that's pretty much the reason why Dignitas can now have this 11-2 lead. And this time Able are gonna be putting up some aggression towards A. We haven't really seen a full-on execute just yet, but here we have it, and it's looking good. 5 people still alive for Able. Smokes are down. Kimmy is gonna be pushing. Sadly, not quite connected to kill. And Milk is in a little bit of a tough spot, getting sandwiched there by the stairs area. Too many angles to look at, and just a pistol there eventually that she was trying to do it with. Yeah, I mean, it was hectic, but I like the aggression and the change of Able here.
Yeah, it's just sad that it's had to come so late in the half. Like, even if you get 4 rounds here, that is still a huge response needed in the second half of play on your map pick. And on top of that, you've let a team that's already that we already know can bring the heat get very, very comfortable, and that's never a good sign. Like, you wanted Dignitas to be coming into this game doubting themselves, and kind of having to play your game and having to feel like this worry that they were losing to a team that they shouldn't be, and that's not really the case right now. Sapphire, though, she's someone who I think could make a huge difference, because the other day, man, she was on fire. Like, she was really stepping up. There's definitely the talent here for Able. It's just about having the right pieces at the right places at the right times. We're into this 3-on-3. And now with the bomb planted, this is actually a good chance for Able to potentially find a 4th round. Exile's over here in Palace, and she's going to try and open up with this orb, but as smoke comes in, actually, it's gone a little too deep. And that could be a bit of a disaster here, because Exile is now still very much a threat. They deal with her, though, and it all falls onto Sapphire. If there ever was a time, Sapphire, it is now to show us what you're made of. But the Molotov, it's missed. That is a disaster. It hasn't, rather. There's just smoke on the molly. And so Dignitas just stick the bomb, and Sapphire was never to know that. There wasn't really much she could do there in that 1v3. So Dignitas with 12, Able with 3. This is a very, very one-sided first half of play, but can Able get back into it in any way, shape, or form? You're going to have to join us in just a moment to find out.
My crew, yeah, we're lawless. Got the man, them thinking that we're flawless. Yeah, mama told you that I'm gorgeous. Got a million tricks, can't deport us. I'm a flame in the star, call me gassed. Back foot slidey, I'm slick to the mask. Calling to the tribe, it's a revolution past. Present in time, no, we can't be masked. So you better rise up, collapse, size up, shout out loud. Down before the time's up, so we better rise up, collapse, size up, shout out loud. Down before the time's up. If we break bread, then I'm coming like a eeler. If you want beef, then I tom beater. If you want beef, then I tom. 789, that's procedure. If we break bread, then I'm coming like a eeler. If you want beef, then I tom beater. If you want beef, then I tom. Me and my crew, yeah, we're lawless. Got the man them thinking that we're flawless. Yeah, mama told you that I'm gorgeous. Got a million tricks, can't deport us. I'm a flame in the star, call me gassed. Back foot slidey, I'm slick to the mass. Calling to the tribe, it's a revolution past. Present in time, no, we can't be masked. So you better rise up, cool up, size up, shout out loud, down before the time's up. So we better rise up, cool up, size up, shout out loud, down before the time's up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back here at Dignitas versus Able Esports. It is a 12-3 scoreline. So far, it's looking very dominant on the Dignitas side, but Able is now moving to that CT side, a little bit more favorable. But the question is, can they pull off this amazing comeback they need to secure their own map pick? That's the question, Ari.
Yeah, that is the question. And it is a big old question, you know, like it. Oh, I don't know, Veerless. I hope they can. I want a bit more out of this series. Like, if I'm being honest, I showed up wanting to cast like a nice, full, competitive game, and it might just be over in 20 rounds, and that would be heartbreaking. So I really hope that that's not the case. We've got Dignitas, and also I've drunk so much coffee, like on the build up for this, that, you know, it better be good, because if it isn't, I'm awake all night. Let's see Bouchard over here towards short. She doesn't manage that opening kill. Instead, it's Thea to light up the scoreboard. Sapphire over at bench, and oh, she's not quite able to find Artstar either. So this whole round is maybe already out the window. It's a 3-on-5. That's awful odds for Able. They desperately need a hero now. We've got XR, we've got Smiley, we've even got Kimmy in this server, and well, never mind, it's actually just two of them now left in this 2-on-5. Oh no. Veerless, please deliver me a good round. I just want the pistol to go in favor of Able so that this map can keep on going.
Oh man, well, here they come. Well, Kimmy is getting one kill for herself, but sadly that is all she will get. Yeah, I would have wished, you know, maybe if Able were able to get that pistol round going. Yeah, you gotta love that word, you know. Oh my god, like we had yesterday all the that's what she said jokes, and now we are having Able back on the board, so this is like how many
honestly,
times can we say that word? It's
like whenever you cast like a team like Big as well, right? Like suddenly you realize how much you use that word on a day-to-day basis. And now it's the same with Able. Over here in this round, we have the 4 spy from Able and Kimmy immediately with the Deagle. That's what we want to see. She finds an opener, instant 5-on-4. And so suddenly for Able, you're like, okay, you take a moment, you take a big deep breath. That's what that was, by the way. That was an inwards breath. That wasn't anything else. And you know, now they're really just kind of taking this in, and they're having a moment where they try to recompose themselves. And this is where, you know, if you're Dignitas, you're not like worried yet, because obviously you've got a 10-round lead, you're 4-on-5, you still have a lot of advantage in terms of the firepower. But these rounds, as we've seen a lot here at this event, can get out of control. And so like these are these moments where you're already like, you don't want to admit it, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking like, okay, we really, really cannot afford to mess this up and let these pistols get away with anything else. And sometimes it's that like fear, that worry that starts to creep in, that leads to you taking fights in a bit of a different way, a bit more passive. And these things can cause problems in the long run. So let's see, the Mach 10 of Kimmy not quite able to deliver, but she does do a lot of damage at the very, very least. It's a 4-on-4 retake at this A bomb site with utility on Smiley that's going to go in now. Is this going to be enough though?
Well, Sapphire there with 1 kill onto Thea. And the flashbangs are now going to be popping, not really blinding anyone, but maybe it will be enough. Exile getting 1, but Rain has come alive. 2 kills now for her, leaving Sapphire to clutch this one out. She does have an AK, but the spray is not quite there. So Dignitas, they want to close it out. They're now on that 14-3 scoreline. And it's just, you know, they're just like a hair away from winning this first map. Oh, and the Nova onto Sapphire now, and the dualies.
Right. So This is a buy if I've ever seen one. Like, Velas, how many times, I need to know, how many times when you've casted CS have you seen a Nova and 2 sets of dual Berettas? Because this is a first for me.
Not a whole lot of times. We've seen a big bunch of weird shotguns and weird pistols and even Negevs in this tournament so far. And of course, that was mainly towards the end of a map when a map seemed not really very much winnable anymore. So they're just trying to have some fun with it. And I can respect that. But sadly, the fun weapons are not doing it this time. Exile is now alone on B. They are going B, and Exile's getting a nice kill for herself. And the question is, how much more can she get? Oh, there was a ding coming in, but the head armor saved Rain there. So now Dignitas onto that map point. Able is able to buy up this round. But yeah, this is going to be a rough one if they want to come back from this.
Yeah, it really is. There's an AWP on Exile, though, and I'm happy about that because she is someone who I think has really shown herself to be a big driving force within this Able squad. So I'm hoping that AWP can at least like salvage a round and make this a bit more respectable for Able. But this fast A play for Dignitas, it might not be something that you're ready for. And oh, Rain gonna nail that shot onto Kimmy. Milk moving in, and she just completely breaks Smiley apart. Rain follows up with another, dearie me. This whole map might be coming to an end very, very quickly. It's Bouchard and it's Sapphire up against the odds.
Oh, Sapphire not able to connect that spray, and Bouchard now in a 1 versus 4. Yeah, the question is, how much more can she do? There is another kill for her right there onto Artstar. But still, 3 more to take care of, and the bomb has been planted. The time is ticking away, and eventually it's Emily that will take that last kill there for Dignitas. That's map 1 secured. But let's see, maybe Able is able to turn things around on that second map, which will be Train. They've played it a big bunch of times, but Dignitas is also a big powerhouse on that map.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried, right? Because that was a half an hour map. Like that very, very rarely happens. And this is a consolidation final. You know, Dignitas, they're hungry to try and reach that spot where they can face CLG Red for a chance to take the whole event. And you know, they're not messing around. So you really have to bring your A game right now. And I'm a little bit worried for Able because there were a lot of cracks showing there. Dignitas, they didn't make really any mistakes. So now we move on to their map pick and trade. And as you say, like this is a very, very good map for Dig. So I am a little bit worried, but let's see if Able can pull it back. Let's remain optimistic, shall we? So you're going to have to stick around. You have to join us for that second map in just a minute.